Sorry about that, guys. We'd had a little interruption. But anyways, I think you understand what I was trying to say, that we found some information on a cemetery here in Oklahoma that leads us to believe that we might have found the real Crybaby Bridge.
Theory, story.
Yeah, because she found something that I didn't know. Kind of tell them the story that you found.
The story I found was there was this young girl, and she was probably maybe 15, 16 years old. She got pregnant out of wedlock, and her family shunned her. So, back then, in the 19th century, it was normal for girls to get pregnant out of wedlock, and they'd either had to give up their babies to a certain hospital, or they would go and jump over a bridge with their baby, since everybody would dislike them and would make fun of them and everything like that, so they couldn't take it. And the women that jumped were called the fallen women.
Because their families even shunned them, right?
Yeah.
Their families would shun them. And wasn't the girl that died in this one, didn't they say something about her dad was abusive to her?
Her whole family was abusive to her.
Yeah, they were, even physically, I think, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they beat her, abused her, and even the town people would even call her out on it, and it was just terrible.
Another thing we found too, guys, thought was kind of interesting. This happened, actually have a date for the Crybaby Bridge, which was June 13th, 1924 was when the incident happened, according to the two that's dead, they believe to be the two. The location was in Catoosa, Oklahoma. Now the moon phase was a waxing gibbous, which is almost a full moon. I'm not sure if y'all know much about that. I think it's around 80% light is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But they had heavy thunderstorms in the area that night, and also localized flooding. So it all goes kind of along with the storm, kind of along with the rise in water and everything.
Kind of goes with the original story that everybody's heard about.
Yeah, just with the twist of kind of why she done it. Maybe it wasn't an accident. Maybe it was she jumped, and maybe the reason she's looking for the baby is...
I think this story holds more value and is more... has more... what is that word?
More evidence?
Yeah.
Because we have the graves. We believe we've even located the one of the two possible cemeteries that the bodies are in. And didn't the caretaker say something about there was something...
They said that there was two graves that had the word unknown on it. But between, what was it? 1957, I think it was. It was between when she died to 1957. Someone was looking for the grave. We don't know who. We're going as with a sister of hers, maybe. And she found the graves and put 2 red bricks on each one with 2 names. That was Blissy and Clissy. And after 1957, through that year, there was 2 roses put on those bricks. The caretaker that took care of the cemetery seen them, but after 1957, they just suddenly stopped being put there.
The caretaker also said that it was the grave of an adult and the grave of a child that was in the cemetery.
And the names to them were actually the women and the baby's name. That was
Yeah, it was the same woman and the same baby's name that had died off the bridge.
Yeah.
So that makes us kind of believe this bridge has some truth to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that have investigated this bridge, and they do say they do hear the baby crying. In fact, there was one man that was an investigator out of Oklahoma, spoke with him, and says he'll never return back to the bridge. He had an apparition appear on the other end of the bridge, which he said leads off into a wooded area. Started coming toward him. He heard the baby crying, getting louder, and he said he left the scene, and he said he was ashamed to admit it, but he'd had an accident.
Mm-hmm.
And said that he would not return back to the bridge. And he said he'd been there several times before with nothing to happen. And this time he had went. He said it was awful. He said he saw the apparition at the end of the bridge, heard the baby crying, the whole works, and started coming toward him. And He said he won't go back and has not returned back to that bridge. So he kind of cautioned us at going there, but I believe we're going to go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I found the actual year. It was in 1952. 2 red bricks were placed with the names engraved: Clissy and mother named Bessie. And the baby's name was Clissy, mother's name was Bessie.
So hopefully we can find the grave and show you all the grave with the 2 grave sites.
We're thinking the sister searched for their graves for 28 years until she found them in 1952. 2 roses marked them until the bricks showed up. So before the bricks were placed, 2 red roses were placed there. I'm thinking she put 2 red roses when she found the graves that were marked unknown until she could find something to actually engrave their names on.
And she might have even found out where they're at from the caregiver of the cemetery, saying, "Hey, there's 2 bodies over here. There's a baby girl and a older 15, 16-year-old woman, and I know they're there because I'm the caretaker." He back then they saw the bodies. A lot of the caretakers back then actually done the burying and preparing, so he would be pretty believable.
And we're thinking that since the roses were placed in 1952, we're thinking after she placed the bricks, the roses disappeared. But they were placed on it for a whole year before the bricks. So we're thinking as soon as she put the bricks, she had enough time to mourn, and maybe she died, or maybe she just moved on and moved. That's why the roses stopped coming.
Another guy that also visited there, another investigator, said that he had left the place without any incident, but when he was on his way home, he got on the dark road that leads out of there, and he heard a baby crying in his car. He thought somebody had actually stuck something in there to scare him. He pulled over on the side of the road, checked the back seat of his car, and said he couldn't find anything, to do with the baby or anything like that. And whenever he got back into the car and drove home, when he got out underneath the light of the carport, he noticed on the front of the hood of the car baby handprints. So that was kind of another occurrence that's happened here. So we're going to find it. I think we're going to make a trip there.
The original
I think we have to.
story, unlike the one that we've always heard, it's more believable, in my opinion. It's where she was a young girl pregnant, no husband, so her family shunned her from the family, along with being abused, beaten, and harassed for her sin. Being tormented throughout her pregnancy by the strict family and some town folk, she went to the Buggy Creek Bridge on Friday, June 13th, 1924, after giving birth. She took her child and tossed it over, which that kind of stopped me, because I don't think she would have tossed the baby. I think she would have held on to it. But whenever she jumped over, I think the current was so strong during the thunderstorm, because I think the actual thunderstorm was real, a part of the old story, and I think the current may have, or the impact may have, knocked the baby out of her arms while she jumped, and that's what broke them apart, and that's why she is still looking to this day for her baby.
She wants to be with her baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we found out, guys. We're going to be planning a trip to go there. Hope it's something that you all want to see. It's something we kind of want to check out. So we look forward to your comments, opinions. If you want to see this happen, if you want to see us go there, let us know. I think it's interesting. I get interested in things like this. The bridge is set for demolition, we're told.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a short time to go there if that's what we're wanting to do, and see for ourselves if anything happens. I appreciate each and every one of you watching. Be safe. God bless, and check out her channel she's got going on. I'll put the link to her channel in the description, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.